Start off with our environmental assessment project that we have going. You may recall we submitted our first two chapters to the FAA in November. Had not had any response. On February the 18th, we met with the FAA, and I expressed my concern that it was taking so long. Actually, on the 19th, we did get the comments. So I think it's just reinforced that the squeaky wheel may get the grease. We'll keep after them on that. On the 18th, when we met with the FAA, it was for our capital improvement program, which covers the FAA grants over the next 5 years. And they seem to think that our schedule that we had submitted, if you recall, for completing the EA in December of this year was too aggressive. And they just reiterated that to us in this meeting, that unless we had an environmental assessment finding by April of this year, we would have to put off any grant under the EA for at least another year. And so I think what was holding things up was not what we were providing them, but their response back to us. So that was kind of disappointing. However, there was a couple of good things. We are going to get a grant for FY17 to do a pavement analysis. We haven't had a complete pavement analysis on the airport for several years, and they did agree to that. The other thing, you may recall, in 2006, we had to do a study of runway 422 when things were changed from 1533, and that was on our nickel, and it was about $183,000, as I recall, and they did agree to reimburse us for that this year. Great. So, 10 years now, interest-free, but still we're getting the money back. So that was good news. On our rehabilitation of the lower T hangar taxiways, you all approved the request for the grant back in December, and we received the grant in February. We're moving forward on that. The borings have been completed, and actually it's good news. This is kind of what we were expecting, as the depth of that pavement. You can see there's not much there that you could mill and overlay. However, our engineers have told us that the results of the borings are looking a little better than this. This may have been the exception. And with that, you might recall that we had talked about a $1.8 million rehabilitation construction project for that. AECOM is telling me now that it's going to be less than that because of the boring results. I don't have that number, but it will be less than that. So that's good news. In fact, they're coming down on the 25th for a site visit to look and hopefully finalize those numbers for me. Our fuel sales, you can see our jet fuel is down a little bit, and we're still missing the activity that the Clark operation had there. Although I did get some encouraging news today that Trident has a couple of additional jet operating aircraft that are looking to relocate to Easton, and they'll be working to find hangar space for them, get them in there, and that'll be a big help. Our aviation, or avgas, is doing well. Along with that, I can jump ahead a little bit add that Trident closed their flight training operation in Bay Bridge on February the 1st and moved it to Easton. That brought an additional 10 aircraft over and additional flight training. I spoke with Mr. Gaudieri this morning about how that was going. He said actually they were concerned when they moved over they might lose some of their customers, especially those that were coming from the Western Shore. And has not been the case. He said they've actually kept those customers and picked up a couple here in Easton. So things are looking good for that.
So those 10 aircraft, is there hangar space for all of them, or are they outside?
They're on tie downs. They went on tie down. Their hangar space, they're at capacity. That's why they're looking for other options. I'm hoping that might include the Clark hangar that is available. So. On our corporate hangars, we had an emergency repair on the door for that. We got 3 quotes, and interestingly, they were really all over the place: $35,000, $52,000, and $78,000. And fortunately, we went with the low bid. Thank you all for approving that. And we've got the door ordered. Should be in before too long. With Easton Hangar, the new hangar that's being built just south of the Trooper 6 hangar, the option to lease was signed. They had the site plan hearing with the town on January the 21st, and the schedule. Mike Gardner Construction is the contractor that's doing it, and they've provided us a schedule which shows it being completed the end of May. I think that's pretty aggressive as well, but we have got the borings. They did the borings for the foundation, and that was completed this last week. There are a couple of issues with the town on the stormwater, and we've presented or provided the town our stormwater prevention plan, which is FAA and MDE approved. So hopefully they'll get their building permit very soon. And Trooper 6, I think I've mentioned that to you before about the new helicopter being heavier, and it actually created a couple of little tracks in their apron that goes out to the main apron. And we've got some prices on addressing that, repairing it. And I've contacted the state to see if they would be willing to help us out. It ranges anywhere from $28,000 to $61,000 to fix that. So I haven't heard anything back from them. And actually, I have to say that over this, the concern was those troughs might hold water and freeze and make it, a hazard to getting the helicopter out. We've had a couple of snows. We've been able to keep those clear, and it hasn't been a problem. So that may be why I haven't heard back from them. I'm not sure.
This is an asphalt apron that's there?
It's asphalt between the hangar and the main apron. Some of our hangars have concrete, and when this one was built, they chose to put asphalt in it. I had that discussion with the new hangar that's being built, asphalt or concrete, and I said, well, in the long run, I think you're much better off with concrete. So
those new helicopters are that heavy that they cause ruts in the asphalt?
Oh, correct. The new helicopter is quite a bit heavier than the one that they had in there. So. Also, Tri-Gas and Oil, they've moved in. They've got their trucks. If you've been out by there in the space we're leasing them inside the fuel farm, I did want to say that the town originally, they were going to put a trailer in there, and there were all kinds of conditions. Had to have handicap parking and access into the trailer. And it was just going to be the truck drivers, and the only people that have keys is Tri-Gas and Oil drivers and the airport. And fortunately, Don Richardson with the town came out and met with us. And so instead of having a trailer, and the purpose of the trailer was to keep their computers in over the winter so that they didn't have to, they take them with them when they do their deliveries. And Don worked out we worked out an agreement with Don. He suggested that they install a shed instead of a trailer. and that took away all the handicap parking requirements, so it worked out for us. On our gateway application, which designation from TSA to allow flights to go directly into Reagan National Airport from Easton. We did get a response in December from them, and I also spoke with them again on February the 3rd. They call. I had a phone call from them just confirming that we were interested in doing it, and we are. And they had originally told us it'd be about a 3-month schedule to get it, so we applied in November. Hopefully we're getting close. Airport Day, we had originally planned that for September the 17th through the yaks, of course, coming. The aircraft is a big draw, and that we do the flyovers and the chicken dropping things. One of the members of that organization scheduled a pumpkin drop at another airport on that day and didn't bother to discuss it with anybody else. It got locked in on that, so we have rescheduled our airport day. It'll be August the 27th this year. It's hopefully it won't be too hot, and that works out. We're going to have our first planning meeting coming up on March the 17th on that. We do have a new, not necessarily new avionics shop, but because they were here previously about 4 years ago, but West Air Aviation is operating back. They moved back over from Bay Bridge Airport back to Easton. They're operating out of Easton Jet now, and very busy, and we're glad to have an avionics shop on the field. It was much needed. We also have a new 135 air taxi operator, a company called Skyline Flight out of New York has moved one of their aircraft down. They're small Cirrus aircraft, four-seat airplanes, and they're looking to fill the market that they think might be here for the relatively short 1 to 2 hour flights, and so we're wishing them well. They're also operating out of Easton Jet's hangar. And Maryland Aviation Administration dropped by here a while back and gave us a lighted wind cone, which is a windsock, but it's got LED lights in it, so it makes it much more visible at night. And we've looked into installing it, and of course it's never easy with some of the requirements. We can't put it up on our existing windsock because the base isn't frangible. So we had to find a new place to put it. We've done that. However, to get it wired and put up, I've got the estimate from Rommel Electric that $5,930 to do it. In addition to that, because it would be a new installation on the airfield, the FAA requires that we do a small environmental assessment. Yes, sir. And
10 years later, we get a windsock.
And then we would have to file a notice of proposed construction for it. So
Don't forget the fox squirrels, Mike.
You can't install it on the old one, but if you removed one and put a new in the same spot, does that still count as new construction? New.
yes. I've asked AECOM to provide me an estimate of that, and I've called MAA, and while I thanked him for it, if it gets too costly, we'll let some other airport have that windsock. And the movie Jackie, I don't know if you all have heard about that, but it's about Jackie Kennedy after, I believe, the president's assassination, and we've been working with them for several months, the movie company, to do some of the shooting, and they're going to have a pretty much full day on March the 1st filming at the airport. And Natalie Portman is playing Jackie. You all know who that is. And so, and I do want to thank Tony for his work. We had to have a contract with the film company, and it was kind of a short notice. And Tony, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was helpful.
Did he write himself into the script?
Oh, I don't want to spoil the movie.
That's why he shaved off his beard. Get ready.
And we've got a pretty good waiting list for T-hangers. And so I contacted a manufacturer, Rectitube, about what it would cost. We've got a site that's been approved by the FAA to put them in there. The buildings were $110,000, and you know that sounds pretty reasonable for 6 hangars. And by the time the engineers got through with all the FAA requirements and the stormwater and everything, it was $1.3 million. So I don't think we're going to be building any T-hangars real soon anyway. And finally, you know, I mentioned Trident moving over, and they also have some other things going on. They've got the international students training. Their first international student soloed last week. He's from Australia, and so that's the beginning of that program. They're pretty excited about it. And the Navy has contacted them, and they've been very pleased with the way the program's been going, training the midshipmen. And as a result, they're increasing that program by 10% this year, and be starting a week earlier and running a week longer. So when I met with Mr. Galtieri this morning, he said that we should see some more fuel sales out of that and activity. So that's it for the airport.